and to get ready for our upcoming class. We are going to be recording this meeting, so I will be able to, or our team rather, will be able to send it out to you afterwards. So you'll have a copy of it in case there's any audio issues or anything like that. You'll be able to reference it. I want to give kind of just a quick overview of Code Kentucky, and then I know we have a few of our team members on the call, so I'll have them introduce themselves. But you may need a refresher of why you're here. It might have been a while since you applied. So Code Kentucky is a free training program for residents of eligible counties in Eastern and Northern Kentucky. So that's where we're piloting right now, and we're a spinoff of a program that has been operating in Louisville, where I'm based. I'm in my nice little home office here since about 2014. What we do is we provide evening classes to help prepare students for careers in programming. You do have to be 18 or older to be in the program, so we really focus on adults and career changers looking to do something new. Our goal is to prepare adults for new careers in tech, and for some reference and kind of just some scoping. Code Louisville, which is our sister program, has almost 700 students now who have gone on to launch new careers in tech. So we really have seen that this works, and we're excited to be branching out into more areas of the state. One quick note, if you all filled out, if you became acquainted with our program July or August or so of last year, and you did not actually fill out our full, pretty lengthy application, we do need you to do that. You can go to codekentucky.org to fill that out. Otherwise, if you've applied anytime really since mid-September on, you're good to go, and you don't need to do anything else for right now. So with all that being said, again, my name is Shannon Siders. I'm the operations manager for Code Kentucky. So I help manage our day-to-day and just kind of keep things on track and help with the development of the program. And then we also have a few staff members, some who are located in the various regions that we serve. So I'll let those folks go ahead and take a second to introduce themselves.
Hey everyone, I am Jackie Pillay, and I'm the Student Service Coordinator for Eastern Kentucky.
Hey everybody, I'm Jared. I'm the Student Community Coordinator for Northern Kentucky region. So while you're in the program, tracking your attendance, answering any questions that you have, and trying to get you connected to any resources that can help you stay in the program and graduate.
Hi everyone, my name is August Mapp. I'm the technical career coach. I'll be here to help you all make resumes, do mock interviews, do workshops, and whatever else you need to be prepared to get your job in the tech industry.
And hi, I'm Monica Remy. I am the employer coordinator for Northern Kentucky. So after August helps you get your resume together and all that great stuff, I help people find jobs.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. We also have an employer coordinator in Eastern Kentucky. Her name's Betty. She works really closely with the Teleworks USA program. She couldn't join us tonight, but she is a really integral part of the team as well. And everyone on our team, you'll end up working with us at some point, but we're here to help you along the way as you start your code journey. So hopping right into it, the main reason that we started doing these information sessions before actually starting upcoming sessions is that we have focused on a pathways model now. So before, we used to route everybody into the same intro course. Now we give you all a little bit more say and choice into what you would like to study for 2 consecutive 12-week courses. So the reason that we came up with these is we have seen a need for them in the market. So we have seen employers both locally in both regions and nationally, so remote type jobs, wanting these specific skills. So really, you can't go wrong with whichever one you pick. We chose all of them because they're in demand. It's more of a difference of what you're interested in and what your career goals are. Code comes in many forms, so it really is a lot like spoken languages. There's a lot of different ways to achieve the same goal. You're going to choose a pathway, and I have the 3 that we have right now up on the screen. And with that pathway, you're going to take 2 consecutive 12-week classes. So the first one would start in May, and then ideally you would start again in late August/September is when our next session would start. We'll get into more detail about if that doesn't work for you or things like that. We'll work with you guys, but typically that is the order that you would take those. Again, all of these are growing fields. They all use the same fundamental principles. And really, it's just a lot of problem solving. So we're going to help you all kind of dust off those problem solving skills. For a lot of you, you may not have been in any sort of formal education for a while. So we're going to teach you how to learn. We're going to teach you some critical thinking, how to solve problems with code, that sort of thing. Right now, the 3 pathways that we're offering are web development, software development, and data analysis. In the next few slides, I'm going to go into more detail on each of those. At the end of tonight, and actually it'll be tomorrow, our team's going to follow up with you all with a sign-up sheet so you can choose the pathway that you would like to do for the next 24 weeks. You'll choose that. We'll also have some information along with that email to give you more resources. So if there are any details you need, or if you're just not sure which one you might want to pick, there's a sorting quiz on the resources that we're sending you that might help you kind of figure that out and get a little bit more information on all of those things. Before I dig into the pathways, there is a little chat box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So as we're going along, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in there, and my team members will be watching that. They can help answer some questions, and we'll also open it up for Q&A at the end. So focusing a little bit on web development, which is a pathway that you can choose. This is going to be focusing on not just websites, but the interfaces that go with them. And we're going to be using JavaScript for that. Excuse me. So JavaScript is a programming language that's evolved a lot recently, and really it's used to build just about everything on the web. So from interactive forms to graphics and everything on between. For the first 12 weeks, your class is going to focus on the front end. So the look and feel of a website, any of those interactive parts. For example, when you're on a mobile phone versus when you're on a computer, how the screen changes and how the design changes to make it more functional for each of those devices, that sort of thing. With the next 12 weeks, so that second 12-week course, you're going to be focusing a lot on JavaScript. So with front end, it's HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you really dive into JavaScript hard with the second 12 weeks. This is going to help you with all the behind the scenes stuff that make the website work. You might, for example, pull data from another website and use it to display on your website just to make it a lot more interactive. The goal for this would be for you to become a full stack developer, which means that you can do both front end and back end development. The second pathway we offer right now is software development. And this is going to be along the lines of creating a computer program that completes a specific task or set of tasks. So this is more like traditional software development, like building business applications. This is, for example, like what a company would build their software on, if you have a product that customers are logging into, or maybe applications you deal with behind the scenes that you're not actually interfacing with directly. Some examples on the screen include Microsoft Word, Google Maps, a browser, antivirus programs, device drivers, that sort of thing. We do focus on C# in this class. So for each of the pathways, we did have to pick one language, even though there are many that would fall into each of these. The reason we picked C# is from the Louisville perspective, there are a lot of jobs here in Louisville, and we've also seen that across our region. So on the Code Louisville side, they've offered C# as a class pretty much since the beginning. It's been a really popular one. We've also seen employers in both regions as well as remote employers using it. So we decided to stick with that one as well. With your second 12-week course, you're also going to expand into .NET, which is a popular framework for C#. And then the third pathway option that we have is data analysis. So data analysis is going to be using raw data to find trends and answer questions. You might be looking at what things have already happened, why things have happened, what is likely to happen, what you can do to make things happen. Again, it's just really working with a huge amount of data. So you're going to be working with spreadsheets and tables and turning it into something useful. In this case, we're specifically using Python. Again, that is not the only language that you would use in data analysis, but it's a really popular one. It's one that we've seen a lot of traction with. So that's what you'll be learning in this course. With the Python course, there's a little bit of SQL thrown into that as well. So you would be also learning that. So after today, sometime tomorrow, our team is going to send you information on, more information rather, on each of these pathways, including that sorting quiz. So you can kind of explore what you may be most interested in. Again, there really is not a wrong answer. There's not a wrong way to go. We've seen a lot of expansion and growth with all of these. It's just giving you a little bit more options to pick something that you all are more interested in. So possible careers. All of these pathways are going to lead to a variety of careers. And again, we chose them because we know that they are growing. Grads from our sister program have gone into all of the roles listed on the screen and even more. So you may decide to go into an actual developer role, whether it's mobile development, software development, website development, or you may find yourself in more of a tech adjacent role. Maybe you go into a QA analyst role and you're doing testing and trying to break things. Business intelligence analyst would be a really good fit with data because you're going to be looking to help companies make good decisions. You can become a UX designer. So really focusing on what makes people tick and how we can design websites and applications that are a good fit for that. Customer success, sales, support, even all different kinds of career paths. Even something like a digital marketing manager, there may be skills used in that, especially like HTML or CSS, that we would teach you that you can take on to a job in that realm. These are also, the jobs are across a lot of different industries. So within Louisville specifically, what we've seen students go into, insurance, Humana was a big hub here, health, advertising, food, appliances, just about every company is a tech company. So really the sky is the limit there. I will say before I get too much further with talking about careers, so we typically recommend that students go through the 2 consecutive courses before they're what we consider job ready. At this point with Code Kentucky, we are just past the middle point of our second class. So we don't have a ton of good data yet. We have had a few students already who've gotten jobs, which is really exciting. But we really would expect more of that movement to come after this class ends. So we will always keep you all posted on what those numbers look like and kind of what you can expect as you are entering your own tech journey. Our success as a program does rely on helping people to find jobs. We cannot guarantee you a job. This isn't something where we have like a money back guarantee. We are a free program. But we're going to do a lot to help you all get there. So we had a few folks at the beginning introduce themselves. Betty and Monica are working pretty much every week on reaching out to new employers, figuring out what the employers in their region, as well as big remote employers, are looking for in terms of junior tech talent and bringing those job openings to you. We use an internal communication tool called Slack. You all may be familiar with it. It's pretty basic. Messaging chat type application, but we do have a job board in there. So any types of jobs that we find that are related or that we think you all might be a good fit for, we're going to share in there for you. I'll talk a little bit more about this in a bit, but August is also going to be working with you all to write your resumes, to do workshops, and just to make sure you all are prepped when it comes to landing what is likely going to be your first tech job. So the average starting salary after completing a full track, what we've seen again anecdotally on the Code Louisville side, because we're just not quite there yet numbers wise with Code Kentucky, is 45 to 50,000. That's going to depend on a lot of different factors though. So it's going to depend on the company, the specific role that you're in, what past experience you have. So what other transferable skills you're bringing to the table. We have seen though that a lot of people in tech move up rather quickly. So it may be that you start out in an entry or junior level role, you might become a mid-level developer within a couple years. So there's not typically as much of a waiting period. It tends to move a lot more quickly in tech, especially when you're putting the work in. So how do you become a graduate of our program? Again, after tonight, you are going to get a form to fill out asking you to select which pathway you want to be in. That form is going to be due next Wednesday at midnight. So finish it Wednesday, and then Thursday, our team's going to come in and start sending you all pre-work. The pre-work is really designed to make sure that you all are getting kind of a taste test into what the next 12 to 24 weeks are going to look like for you. So it's going to be an introduction to whichever pathway you choose. It is pretty hefty, so it is about 20 to 30 hours of watching videos. You can code along if you would like. There are some sort of interactive pieces, but for the most part, at this point, it's just watching those videos, getting through that to decide, yes, this is actually what I want to go into. Or if you decide that it's something you're not interested in, that's okay too. We're here to work with you during that point. So you'll have our info@codekentucky.org email address if you all have any questions or just need more information as you're making your decision. Once you've completed the pre-work, we will start enrolling for our May session. We are going to get in touch with you all a little bit closer to on what your class night is going to be. A lot of that really depends on the availability of our volunteer mentors. So we'll talk a little bit more about who those mentors are and what they do for the program at the end. But just know that you'll be meeting one night a week for 12 weeks. We're likely not going to have any Monday classes for this upcoming session just because there are 3 observed holidays during that 12-week period, and that's a lot of class to miss. So we're not going to do that. You will have access for the pre-work and then throughout the class to an online curriculum site called Pluralsight. It is something that's pretty recognized in the industry, something that a lot of employers use, for example, to skill up their current employees. You're going to be assigned to a channel in Pluralsight, and that channel is going to have your pre-work in it and then your actual curriculum in it once you're enrolled in the class. Again, the pre-work is going to take roughly 20 to 30 hours. We do give you all about 4 weeks to complete it. I think the due date is April 3rd at midnight. That's a Sunday. So it should be plenty of time to get that done. The reason that we do this pre-work, it ensures that you're going to have enough time to get through a program like ours. So it is kind of a simulation of the time that you're going to be spending during the actual 12 and 24-week class to get things done. It's going to make sure that you have the aptitude to work through this type of content, to learn through video lessons, and that, again, it's something that you're actually interested in. We have a lot of people who go through pre-work and decide that they don't like it, and that's okay. This is an exploration program. We want to make sure that we're getting people who really are motivated and excited about learning this. Again, the pathways do consist of 2 consecutive 12-week classes. So the ideal scenario would be you all start this class in May. We're looking at the week of May 9th to start. And then you would finish in November with the month of August pretty much off. There may be the opportunity to take additional classes beyond that. It's just going to depend on how much room we have. So if we all of a sudden are getting a ton of new applicants, we may need to cap it at just the 2 classes. Otherwise, there may be an opportunity for you all to take another pathway, or we may come up with some like 3rd level elective type courses for you all to continue your learning. classes, you do need to have access to a computer. You don't necessarily have to have a laptop. It could be a desktop computer since our classes are all virtual, so that would be fine. Usually any sort of laptop is fine, but a Chromebook is not going to be useful for the, I think it's the data analysis and software. You can usually get by on a Chromebook for the JavaScript class, the web development class, but for the other two, definitely need a laptop. You also need reliable internet access. You're going to be joining your class one night a week, which we'll talk about here a little bit more in a minute, as well as just completing the curriculum and getting that work done. So you will need to be able to access that. So what's class like? Again, it's going to be 2 or more 12-week sessions. The actual learning portion is done online through Pluralsight. You're going to get that invite to the pre-work next week, at the end of next week, after you've selected your pathway. Once the classes actually start, we will do an orientation the week before class. So I think it's the week of May 1st. I think we have tentatively have it scheduled for that Wednesday, but we'll send out more information a little bit closer to. And then for the next 12 weeks, we're going to have a weekly meetup with mentors. So we recruit mentors who are volunteer software developers. They are kind of all across the board in terms of how much experience they have, what they do in their day-to-day, where they live even. So we have a mentor right now who works in San Francisco and Silicon Valley area. But he's able to take off in the afternoons. His company really encourages volunteering. So he's able to join us virtually for those classes. No matter which class you're in, it is going to be from 6 to 8 at night. And again, we will let you know that class night a little bit closer to when it starts. I know that can be a little frustrating. I apologize, but a lot of it really just depends on when the mentors are available, and we'll get that schedule out to you all as quickly as we have it. In addition to doing those weekly classes that, that you'll be attending, again, virtual via Zoom, we will give you all different requirements depending on if you're in your first class or if you're in your second class. We're going to make sure that you're attending some virtual tech events. You're going to complete a job readiness workshop with August, and you'll have the opportunity to meet one-on-one with him. We'll have you do an informational interview with someone who already works in the field, and basically just all around provide you support as you go in those endeavors. So we're going to make sure that we're there to help you all along the way. Probably the biggest piece of this is creating a capstone project. So tech is what we like to call a show me industry. Employers want to see what you do, not just hear about it. So they want to see the website you built, not just hear, oh yeah, I know JavaScript, it's great. So we're going to work with you all to get a really great project put together that you're going to be able to show employers as you start interviewing for new tech jobs. Projects themselves, you'll work a lot with your mentors, with your fellow students, but it is kind of an exciting thing because we leave it pretty open-ended. So we want you all to pick something that you're really interested in and something that you think is fun and make a project out of that. We've had so many students that I had worked with on the Code Louisville side who made a project and were able to talk about it really excitedly in their interview, and that was something that made them stand apart. So nothing that you really need to think about for that for now, but just know that you'll be creating a project as kind of your final piece of the actual class. Again, we will have a orientation the week before class. So I think it's that very first week of May. We'll announce it a little bit later, where we'll go over more details about what the next 12 weeks will look like. We'll talk more about your first assignments that you'll have and answer any questions as you all are actually going into that. I want to open it up for questions. Again, feel free to either throw a question in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, we can answer those questions for you. And then again, that info@codekentucky.org email is going to be your main contact as you're going through this process. If on Monday, for example, you haven't seen an email from us come through with that pathways form, check your spam, check your junk box, and then let us know at info@codekentucky.org. You may also want to whitelist that email. Unfortunately, it goes to spam a lot just because we're sending so many emails at a time typically. But just know that you'll be getting messages from us there, and you can also reach out to us there. So I will pause. And if anybody has questions, I am happy to answer those. All right. Well, our Tuesday class had a ton of questions. So if you all do have questions, but you're just afraid to ask them or don't know what to ask yet, feel free to email the info@codekentucky.org, and we'll make sure that we get that figured out for you. If you think you may not be able to devote the time until the fall, can you still complete the pre-work? Please reach out to info@codekentucky, and then either Jared or Jackie will follow up with you on the best route for that. Ideally, you're going to be doing it right before the class you go into, just because the information does build on each other, and we don't want you to forget what you're learning. So they'll be able to figure out the best situation for you.
I have a question for this session. Is there a limit of people that are able to be in the class for this coming May?
So pretty much everybody that has applied, you would be eligible to be in the May class. We do limit it to about 20 to 40 students and then 3 to 4 mentors per class. But we can sometimes have multiple classes within each pathway. So for example, this time around, since we're still growing, we're pretty small on numbers, but we had one class night each. So we have like Python on Monday, C# on Tuesday, etc. We will, depending on how many mentors we can find, expand as much as possible. So we could have an option for class nights, or it may just be that there's only one. But if you applied, you're on this call, you applied, you complete the pre-work, we'll have a spot for you in the May class. Are you able to miss some of the classes? I saw Jared answered that, but just for everybody. So the classes are from 6 to 8. You can have 3 absences. So if something comes up, which probably should just say when something comes up, you are welcome to take an absence. We will work with you all. We also try to record the classes when possible so that you can kind of catch up or see what was talked about during class. But yeah, you can miss a few and still be able to successfully complete the course. Which sections are most or least popular? It's really even. So this is the first time, this current session is the first time we have done the pathways. It really evened out just about equal for all of them. Again, it really depends more on what you all are interested in and kind of what your career goals are. We've seen that there is a need for all of them within the tech world, and especially locally, and with some of the remote companies we've worked with, and that's why we chose them. So you really can't go wrong with any of them. It's more just picking which one you think you might enjoy the most. If an employer were to change your work time and it would be conflicting with the time frame of class. So unfortunately, we do need you all to actually be in your classes. If you end up having to change your schedule for some reason, you would just reach out to Jackie or Jared. We'll try to work with you on something, but you do need to attend at least 9 of the 12 classes to be eligible to finish that class. Do courses result in a certification? Great question. So within web development, especially, and even software development, there really isn't a certified industry standard certification. What we will do though, you will get a little PDF certificate saying that you completed the class. We will work with you all on job preparedness and resumes and make sure that you know how to best explore or share that information on your resume. So again, tech is a show me industry, so they're really going to be focused in on seeing your projects and making sure that you can actually showcase what you know. So August, when we get to that point, is going to be working with you all really closely to make sure that you have all of that in check before we kind of set you loose to apply for jobs. Do classes require video for attendance? No, it's great if you can use it. So your mentors a lot of times are going to have theirs on. It really is meant to be engaging and interactive, and you'll have small breakout groups at times. But if you can't use a camera or don't want to for whatever reason, that's okay as well. We don't know. So someone asked, will a cybersecurity pathway be offered in the future? We don't know exactly what we'll offer. It kind of changes based on curriculum that's available through Pluralsight, mentors that we can find, as well as demand from the employers in the region. So Code Louisville at this point, I think, has had a little over a dozen, maybe closer to 15 or 16 different classes that they've offered. So we haven't done a cybersecurity in the past, but there is an option for that in the future. What are the languages being taught in the full stack software development? So for the software development class, that is going to be C# for the next, for the first 12 weeks. I think it just focuses on C#, and then .NET, which is one of the C# frameworks, comes up in that second 12 weeks. If you're asking about the web development, that one is focused specifically on JavaScript. So Code Louisville students who've gotten jobs. So I don't know what their total numbers are right now, but they are at over 700, or I think right at about 700 students who have gotten jobs since the program started in 2015. With that, so they have seen definitely a huge uptick in people who complete 2 courses getting jobs as opposed to just 1. We don't always so much think about it in terms of like percentages of students, just because we are more of an exploratory program. So we have people, for example, who are just looking to skill up at their current job. We have some folks who go through the program and just decide that it really is not for them, and it's not something they ultimately want to pursue. I will say, so I was the career coach on the Code Louisville side for 3 years. I actually went through as a student and was one that was like, nope, not for me, don't want to be a coder. Within the students that I worked with, it was very rare that I would see a student who really wanted a job, really put in the effort, and wasn't finding anything. Typically, if somebody wasn't getting a job, it was more because their projects weren't very good, or they were applying for 1 or 2 jobs and getting really discouraged when they didn't get one of those 1 or 2. It is unfortunately something that takes a lot of work. But again, we're here to help you out through that process. We have had a few people on the Code Kentucky side who've gotten jobs already, which is really exciting. We typically, again, expect people to be more job ready after their second course, and we are still in the middle of even having a handful of folks in their second course. So we'll be sure to share all that information with you all as we keep going. Any material that needs to be purchased. I saw August is answering that. Nope. All you need is your laptop and internet access. We want the program to be completely free. Any sort of software that you'll need, or like your text editor, that sort of thing, there should be no cost to any of that. So you shouldn't have any outside costs as part of the program. And guys, I apologize that I am starting to look like I'm in a dungeon here. I'm in the process of moving, and my favorite little desk lamp is at our new house, so it's a little dark. Any other questions? Jared, if you, so basically if you pick a class and the night doesn't work for you, let your community coordinator know. So if it gets to that point and you're not going to be able to participate, we'll work with you to figure out what the best course of action is. So whether it's waiting until the fall to take a class or doing the pre-work for a different pathway, but we can definitely work with you on that. Thankfully, we didn't run into that too much with our first time around, but if that comes up, we'll make sure that we get you sorted there. Savannah asked, if you complete a pathway, can you apply for another? Potentially. So it's really just going to depend on how many new students we're taking in at any given time, as well as how many mentors we have. So if we have the capacity for it, we will absolutely welcome people back to take whether it's another pathway or just another course. On the Code Louisville side, the way they manage it is they start with their most recent students first and send the sign up forms to them, and then basically just keep going back until all the seats are filled. So unfortunately, it's kind of a question mark, but we will absolutely make sure that you all know what classes are available and if there is space for students to do that. We do try to record the classes, so if you miss it, there will be a recording for you to review afterward. And a lot of the class time isn't your actual instruction. So the mentors might be doing demos or talking to you all about a particular subject, or maybe going through a code challenge, but your actual curriculum will be on Pluralsight, and that's more self-guided. We have a syllabus for you all, and we have milestone deadlines for you all to meet, but ultimately, if you get a little bit behind, you'll be able to catch up on your own with that. All right, well, I'm not seeing any more questions come through. I'm sure you'll think of some more, so please feel free to contact us at info@codekentucky.org. Able to answer anything for you there, and we will also be getting the information to you tomorrow that has our recording from the info session, as well as the form to fill out which pathway you'd like to select, and the link to our wiki with more information on each of the pathways. If you're still kind of trying to decide which one might be the best for you, on that wiki, there is like a sorting quiz that lets you go through and answer some cute little questions to figure out which one might be the best fit. I would say take it with a grain of salt. If something is speaking to you, if something's really standing out, I would recommend going that way. But otherwise, just peruse the resources on there, and that might help you figure out a little bit more what you're looking for. If you have zero experience, we are a program for beginners, so all of the pathways are going to be geared toward beginners. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. It really is just picking which one you're most interested in, or what kind of your career goals would be. Does the pre-work require any coding? It doesn't require it. It's mostly watching videos. You can code along as you're going, which you will be doing once the class starts. But the pre-work itself is just more of an introduction into what you're going to be doing for the next 24 weeks.
Shannon, I think someone else had a question. I heard someone.
Yes, I believe that was me. Can you hear my microphone or?
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, is there any possible like mixing between the pathways? Like data analysts might have some terms or aspects from the web development course pathway.
Sort of. So they all are just different ways of achieving something within tech. So there's going to be a lot of similarities between them. You're not learning the same languages at all in the pathways, but it absolutely, so I don't think it's out of the realm, for example, for somebody to go through, let's say, the software development course, but then ultimately get a job as a web developer. Something we've also seen, so you might, if you take software development, for example, you're going to be learning C# during that course. There are so many other languages. You might land a job and on the first day they say, hey, it's great that you know C#, but we actually use Java here. Here's a book, start reading, figure it out. So this is more a pretty low level intro into what you would be getting into. And again, more just focusing on those problem solving skills, focusing on those critical thinking skills, so that no matter what you end up going into, you'll at least have the basics and kind of like the fundamentals to take on into your new role.
Thank you. Greatly appreciated.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all again. If you don't see an email from us by Monday, reach out to info@codekentucky.org so we can make sure that you get all of the information. Otherwise, check your email. Make sure you check your spam or junk just in case tomorrow, if you haven't seen it come through, and we will be in touch with next steps.